Chicago Bulls get utterly embarrassed at home on their own court against the Detroit Pistons. Me and Pat are going to break it all down and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, a member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Hayes, host, creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcast. And Pat, you were there tonight. The Bulls got utterly destroyed tonight against the Detroit Pistons, down by 40 at the end of the first half. How did it feel watching this game in person?
I mean, where do you start, brother? Like, you could feel that this team is just done. You can feel that they know that there's not a chance. It feels Washington Wizards-esque. It feels like, bro, there was one play today, and I know we're going to touch on all of these different parts, but there was one play today where Malik comes down, hits a three. I start booing immediately. Building starts booing. Great, right? Everybody in this booing. They come out of that timeout. Legitimately, Josh Giddey and Nikola Vucevic couldn't have known to play. There's no way they knew to play. They're both standing at the top of the key. Giddey has the ball. Modest like back cuts. Giddey tries to get the ball down there and then is like, I'm not throwing that. Vooch is like, where am I going? Giddey drives. Vooch stays up top. They kick it back out to him. He shoots a three. We miss. But they can't be listening. They have tuned out what it seems like Billy Donovan's message, whatever that message is. They are a team that reflects his coaching. They are a team that it has zero fight. I mean, I watched, and again, I feel like I'm the only one. I'm not asking you to swing on dudes, but I watched Cade Cunningham take out Coby White. Not a single conversation, not don't hit, the point guard that may be the only dude that can score on this team. Don't go knock him right. This was sad, but it was more sad because you could tell that this is game 28 of the last 28 games, or this is like the whatever it is of the last 28 games left. And they are done with this season. For the Tankers, though, Cooper flag probably secured, I guess. They lose 28 straight games, bro.
Yeah, no, they're still not going to secure Cooper flag. But I think at the end of the day, it's just you just see this team has no heart at all, bro. It's just none there. It's non-existent. I'm not ready to play that yet. What are you doing there? Don't worry, that's for later. Oh, that's for later. We upgrade. We're gonna start playing clips because we gotta play. We gotta show the hilariousness of this whack ass team. But with that said, looks, bro, we shot the ball. It was 4% from three. We took 100 shots today and only hit 35 of them.
Yeah.
That's utterly disgusting as a team, bro.
Yeah. It's a joke. I mean, today was a joke. You saw them not compete. And now, granted, right, with the team taking more threes, you kind of knew they were just going to be chucking shots up at the end. That's pretty much what the entire fourth quarter. What? Dog, you can't figure this out.
No, it works differently from the other thing there. So
what's happening? We're moving around. They had, what happened tonight, and this is kind of the bottom line of it. The Bulls got punched and had no idea who hit them. They did not know they were playing the Pistons. The physicality the Pistons came with, the physicality defensively, the how locked in that they were. The Pistons are a well-coached basketball team. It did not matter how late in the game they got, how much the Pistons got up. Defensively, they were locked in making the Bulls' life a living hell. And on the other side of that, the Bulls had no idea how to answer it.
Well, yeah, I mean the Pistons. Like the Pistons are already a solid defensive team, right? It's like you have a Sore Thompson and what they do defensively, but the Bulls also like. I was watching this game today, Pat, and watching the offense that we ran today. It highlights the fact that if Billy Donovan doesn't have somebody like DeMar or like Zach out there for the offense, like, and I know we've disagreed with this over the years, but tonight, bro, this offense looked like it looked like a child's offense. It looked absolutely terrible. No off-ball actions, no movement,
horrible,
no pick and roll. We did like Billy Donovan knows how to coach the team to do one thing. He determined coming into this year we're going to be shooting more threes, and then like. How many games has it been already since you've come back that we're looking at this? We're like, why'd you keep shooting threes? You weren't making the threes. Attack the paint.
And they were killing you in the paint. Like they weren't trying to shoot the three ball until you basically were just like, we're going to sell out and let them shoot the three because we can't stop you in the paint. They were destroying us in the paint. And I think to that point, dog, like there's one point in the game, you might have been able to hear me on the TV. Like I literally just went, why aren't y'all moving? I know they heard me, bro. It's not that loud in there. Whenever it sounds like it's loud on TV, I guarantee you it's not that loud in there. I guarantee you somebody's piping some sound in. Like it's not loud at all, bro. Like the offensive movement was just non-existent. You had people standing still. You had people not even trying. You had I think the most disappointing part of all of it was watching them try their best to throw the basketball down in the paint to Vooch and just being baffled by the fact that hands were in the way.
But also like I think we can go ahead and firmly say Nikola Vucevic is ready to go. Nikola Vucevic is ready. He's over the Chicago Bulls.
Done.
He's looking at this team. He's like, hey, listen, I could have stayed in Orlando for all of this. Like, I think he's looking at all these kids around, and you know, like you can start feeling. You've ever been at a job before? I know you worked in construction. Maybe it's different. I've never worked in construction. You worked in hospital like me before, though, where you could start feeling like, hey, they're starting to bring in a lot of young people that they're paying way less than what we're all making. The writing's on the wall. Nikola Vucevic sees the writing on the wall. He's done. He doesn't care anymore. It used to be before that Nikola Vucevic would at least look at somebody and be like, hey, I had a mismatch. He got mismatches now and nobody's getting the ball. He's just like, all right, cool.
Bro, like there is no fight. There is no argument. There is no debate. You're getting destroyed on the sideline. I watched in a Philly game where I believe Philly was winning. Kelly Oubre cussed out Joel Embiid for basically saying, hey, bro, like, you ain't been here. Don't tell me how to play this game. And you're getting your head kicked in the second quarter. You got 4 points, and then nobody's having a conversation. Bro, not even aggressive. Billy Donovan is done as well, I believe. He doesn't get up off the bench. He got up off the bench one time to yell at the ref because he called a foul on a Sir Thompson on a three. And he basically was just like, you didn't call that for us on the other side. And then he went and sat back down.
You know what else we saw from Billy Donovan? At least the first time that I could think in recent memory. I know you weren't watching the game. You were there. But on TV, when the camera was on and we saw Billy Donovan pop gum, for literally, he took a piece of gum out and put it in his mouth while the camera was on. And I'm like, we've never seen
that was
this
the line.
before.
That was the line. Billy said, yep, I'm out.
Yeah, done. We're
just blowing bubbles on the sideline.
Like, bro, it was just like this team is done. I know we've been saying it for a while, like, but the thing that I'm concerned about, like, even the rest of the season is supposed to be about development. And I don't even know if I can say that anymore. Like, I don't know how you can develop in an environment like this. Like, it just this was probably, we've had bad losses before, right? But this was the first one where it felt like from 2 minutes into the game, nobody cared. This felt like, I said this over on Central, this felt like the last game of the season where a team knows that, like, all right, we ain't got nothing to fight for. It's the last game of the season. Let's go out here and get this done. That's what this felt like. We got 28 more of these left. 28 of them left.
You know why you can't hold on to development? Who scored the first bucket when you were down 8? Who's the first person to get a basket to go in?
It was Modest Bacillus.
They subbed him out a second later.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was losing my mind on the side. I'm sitting there trying not to. My daughter's there with me, right? It's a daddy-daughter date day. Yeah, I mean, we enjoying us. I'm trying not to lose it. I'm like, no one scored. Everybody else missed. He scored the first bucket. Billy sat him down, and then a minute later put him back in the game.
Yep. That's exactly what happened.
I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, nobody can be this stupid.
Yeah.
Nobody can watch a drought. The first person score and be like, come have a seat, brother.
We're going to talk a little bit more about this game. We're going to keep it going because there was no positives at all in this game for the Chicago Bulls. But we're going to get into first a message from one of our sponsors, and that is Wayfair. After the holiday hustle, there's nothing like giving your home a little TLC. I always find that decluttering and refreshing my space helps me get back into a routine. Whether you're tidying up, cleaning out, or just want to give your space a new look to start the year, Wayfair has everything you need, all within your budget. I'm currently looking for furniture, and their huge selection makes it easy to find pieces that fit my style and budget. My favorite part, the free and hassle-free delivery, even for larger items. Wayfair's site was so easy to navigate, and I found everything I needed in no time. There's something for every style and every home, no matter your space or budget. Wayfair makes it easy to tackle your New Year's home goals with endless inspiration for every space and possible decor. Give your home the refresh it needs with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. We're Locked On Bulls coming up next.
That was a Billy Donovan read.
You got a Billy Donovan hairline. Shut the hell up.
Wow, that's crazy.
With that said,
Billy still got a solid head of hair, if we being honest, though. Billy,
no, he does
great.
not.
It's
that
great.
hairline is that. Listen, matter of fact, Billy Donovan may have a better hairline than you, though. All jokes aside,
I mean,
it's
listen,
swoopy, though.
I ain't brushed it. I just took my hat.
No,
off
you got that thin spot over there that you're holding on to, but we all can see it. It's just a little thin up there at the top, right? It's cool. We all got one. I got a cowlick in the middle. It is what it is. But I want to get into this clip about Josh Giddey. The Bulls were booed today, and Josh Giddey talked about that.
Here's obviously we hate that, and every time we come out on this floor.
Never mind, we're not playing because it's playing low as hell. Is that low for you too, Pat?
I hear.
Okay, cool.
Obviously, we hate that, and every time we come out on this floor, these fans show up and show out. So we've got to. It's our responsibility as players to give them something to cheer for. And tonight we probably deserve it. We didn't give them anything to cheer for. We were down 40 in the first half, and that's not acceptable. We believe in everybody in this locker room. We believe we've got what it takes to win games against anybody in the league, and we've shown that we can compete with anybody. And it just has to be a consistent thing for us, and we have to be able to put full quarters of good basketball together. And I truly do believe that we have enough talent in this locker room to compete with anybody in the league. And obviously tonight we didn't do that, and the crowd was rightfully upset. And as I said, that we've got an opportunity in 24 hours to come back here tomorrow night and give them something to cheer about. So I'm confident in this group that we'll bounce back and be ready to go from tomorrow.
Confident to bounce back and be ready to go for tomorrow. How confident are you in the Bulls' ability to bounce back, Pat?
I do think they can bounce back. I mean, listen, it's impossible to lose like this 2 games in a row. It just is. It's impossible to lose like this 2 games in a row.
Now that you said that,
I hope they do. Listen, if you gonna have it be bad, right? But like, I think the Bulls bounce back. I think they compete more. I think they're a lot more aggressive tomorrow. But that doesn't help you today. That doesn't help the shellacking that you just took. That doesn't help the moment in the game where everyone can see, oh, y'all don't care anymore. And you know what? That is the problem with a lot of Chicago teams right now. The one thing that we always could say about Chicago was, listen, it's not going to be pretty, but they going to give you 110%. Bulls didn't give 110% tonight. Bulls haven't been given 110% for half of this season. You know what I mean? Billy, we can compete with anybody. You have not shown that. Like, in the slightest, like, who have you competed with on a consistent basis? The only thing you've competed with is yourselves by turning the basketball over so consistently. Like, I don't agree with anything Josh Giddey said there. I get it. There's not much you can say after getting beat that bad, but that's not who this Bulls team is.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Bulls team that it's hard to trust that they are going to show any type of resolve because we haven't seen it, right? Like he's talking about a team that like is going to go into that locker room, like everybody's kind of even just sitting around there, like, okay, it was another day at work. Like they may come out and perform better because it's going to be hard to shoot as bad as they did in the first half of this game, right? Like they scored more points in the third quarter than they did in the entirety of the first half. So yeah, the logic tells you that it's going to at least be a lot closer of a game. But I don't trust this Bulls team to all of a sudden come out here and it be some magically better game or better performance from the team because we just haven't seen that consistently from them.
Yeah, I get that, and I agree with it. But I think the one thing we have seen consistently is the inconsistencies, right?
Yeah.
Would you be surprised if they showed up tomorrow and absolutely blew the doors off of Detroit?
No, but that would probably be predicated by them shooting better. Like that's the thing. If the Bulls come out, and we already seen it, right? If the Bulls come out and they start hitting their shots early, and they start, let's say they start shooting 42% from three to start the game, they're a completely different team the rest of the game. Completely different, defensively and offensively. So no, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and play great, and then we'll be sitting here left for a week because we don't play after tomorrow. We don't play again till next Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's the case because that is who this Bulls team has been the entirety of the season for years, really, when it comes down to it.
Yeah, and so for me, like when I look at the, what the next game could be or what this game could be, it should have been like, this is who this team is. Some days it is going to work. Some days it is going to look like a rebuild. Some days it is going to be you getting your head kicked in. Some days you're going to catch a heater and you're going to kick somebody's head in. The Bulls are still a top 15 offense in the NBA. Makes no sense to me. They're also a bottom 5 defense consistently in the NBA. That makes more sense to me. And this is the result of what you are putting out. This is the result of the team and the work that your team has put in. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. This is the result of the work that you're putting your team through. There's one thing working with this team. It's Peter Patton. That's the only thing working. And by the way, I texted Hayes this earlier. He got his work cut out with Kevin Huerter.
Listen, Kevin Huerter's been a veteran in this league. He just doesn't even need to worry about it. Like if we come into next season and it comes down to we're concerned about if Kevin Huerter's giving us quality minutes or not, we got so many other things that we need to worry about.
Well, I just mean getting that shot back. I don't know what happened to him in Sacramento. I don't know what happened to him in Sacramento, but I watched that man in warm up and I was like, oh, he can't shoot. Like it's gone. Like he did not hit shots. He looked like, remember how I talked about Campaign, like warming up when we first started Locked On? I watched Campaign and he missed every shot. He didn't miss every shot, but he missed enough that I started going, hey bro, you playing the NBA? Like it was.
If you saw Kevin Huerter just walking down the streets of Chicago, what would you guess is his profession?
Baseball.
You think
he's tall enough that you know he's some kind of athlete.
See, to me, he looks like every evil lawyer in SVU. That's what he looks like to me. Every bad lawyer.
I'll tell you what, he ran past us and our seats are kind of close. He every bit of 6'7". I will say that. I sat there and I was just like, okay, he's tall. And then I watched him like get absolutely moved out the way for the easiest rebound that he was the only one down there to get. And Jalen Duren was like, well, I guess if you're going to give it to me, I'll take it. Pause. But you know what I mean? Like there is just tonight is maybe the worst Bulls game I've ever watched in my life. Mm-hmm. And I went to a game where Walt Lemon Jr. played.
Did he start that game?
He did start.
How many
he
players?
Only started like 2 games, so I went to one of the other. I don't.
How many players on this team would you like to see Walt Lemon Jr. play ahead of? Let's go through the body. Javon Carter.
Yes.
Does Walt Lemon Jr. play over Javon Carter? Chris Duarte isn't here anymore. Well, hell, who the hell are we going to at that point? Kevin Huerter.
Yes.
Dalen Terry.
Yes.
Julian Phillips.
No.
THT.
Yes. By the
Jones.
way, sidebar. We can keep this going. That hairline is so much worse in person. You want to talk about hairlines, bro? I saw that. I ain't dog. Bro, there's nothing here. There's nothing right here. He need to play with a yarmulke on that thing. It's disrespectful for him to walk around like that.
That's crazy.
Bro, I saw he ran past and I was like, oh my God. Like, my child is here. Hide that thing. Anyway.
Get to your Ari, bro.
All right, we down on that. Walt Lemon Jr. can play over half this team, essentially. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to show love. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page. We got more Locked On Bulls coming up where we got to talk about more bad on Billy Donovan and what Billy Donovan had to say after the game, which is usually a 6-pack of BS. But before we do that, we do got to tell you guys all about Open Phone. Running a small business means you're wearing a lot of hats. Your personal phone becomes your business phone, and before you know it, you're juggling customers' calls all day and night. Shout out to you. As your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage everything with just your personal phone number. That's where Open Phone comes in. It's the #1 business phone system designed to help you keep your work and personal life separate. For Hayes, we might need this. For $15 a month, the cost of a few coffees, you can complete transparency and visibility into everything happening with your business phone number. Open Phone works through an app on your phone or computer and integrates with tools like HubSpot and hundreds of others. It also uses AI-powered call transcripts and summaries, so you'll have a rundown of your calls and action items the second you hang up. And if you miss a call, no problem. Automated messages are sent directly to your customer, ensuring you never miss an opportunity to engage. And right now, Open Phone is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OPENPHONE.com/LockedOnNBA for 20% off 6 months. Openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over, no extra charge. Say that money. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
All right, Pat.
We might have to get in on that.
On the Open Phone?
That's a solid deal. A lot of people got my number. A lot of people got it.
See, I started very early with having a separate business number. You see.
I've had the same phone number since the 5th grade.
I mean, I've had the same phone number since middle school as well, but that's why I knew I didn't want to give it out for business purposes. That's how I knew that. But anyway, talking about business purposes, talk about the business of the head coach. Let's get into these comments from Billy Donovan after the game.
Eyes from the standpoint that I definitely think some of our shooting impacted that. You know, we're 1 for 23, and you know, again, I think you like that happens. You know what I mean? It's 82 games. You're gonna look down through games where you say, "Geez, this was just a miserable, awful shooting night for us." Like, but what else are we doing? And I definitely think it impacted some of us. You know what I mean? And we've got to be competitively mature, stronger mentally, just to be able to kind of work through that a little bit and figure out other ways to make up for some of that, you know, in my opinion. And again, I don't want to, sometimes I can sit up here and I don't see all the film, and sometimes I get a different perspective on the physicality part. I would tell you this, that I thought offensively they physically got into us, and we had a hard time creating separation. That happened. Sometimes from the defensive part, you know, you're watching the game and, you know, all of a sudden the guy's hung up on a screen, you're watching that, and then Vuce is over there, and then you're trying to figure out who's got to rotationally block out, and sometimes the film, you know, clears it up. Right. But I can tell you, when we were running offense, they physically got in us. We didn't set up things well enough. I didn't think we were physical enough when we had the ball, and we were never really able to get anybody involved as a group of 5 because we just couldn't create any penetration or any separation.
You guys obviously see that.
Thoughts there, Pat?
I mean, he's right. What he said is right. It's all basketball correct. Billy Donovan knows basketball.
He knows basketball.
We all know this. He's right. The problem is you coach the team that's not physical enough. You instill the physicality in practice. You instill you want to know why the Detroit Pistons are a physical team, do you think it's because they walk on the court and Isaiah Stewart punches people? Or do you think it's because in practice they get after each other? Or as Billy Donovan kept saying in such weird ways, really get into each other?
The thing that with that quote is that Billy Donovan saying, like, we couldn't penetrate, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, we couldn't do this. Like, I get it that there are things out there that are definitely on the players, right? I've said all the time, like, Billy Donovan doesn't have a single play in his playbook that calls for the Bulls to turn the ball over, right? Yeah. We turned the ball over a lot today.
One for 23 is on the players.
That's on the players, right? Like, even the way we shot free throws today was terrible. We had a 42% true shooting percentage today. That's terrible.
How do you do that?
That's crazy, bro.
That's a college team.
But you also have to look at the fact that, like, as a culture, as a team, as an identity, like, and I get you have to have players, right? But like Billy Donovan has a big place into where this team is as well. Everybody does. Players do. Billy Donovan does. AK does. It's everything in the franchise in totality, right? That leads you here. And my question is just like, okay, now what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
You know, and here's the big problem. And you know, I've talked about this a couple of times. I remember asking, you know, some guys that are in the league, you know, how often are you working on stuff in the league? How often are you working on your game in practice? And essentially what they said was like, you're not. Mm-hmm. You're working on what you have to work on for the upcoming matchup. You're working on things that you need to improve upon, but you're not focusing on the ins and outs of your game. Every offseason, your team is not focusing on becoming mentally tough. You don't get mentally tough in the season. Kevin Garnett didn't just magically become mentally tough. Cade Cunningham isn't just automatically mentally tough. That's something that he had to work at over his life. And in the off seasons, you know, like I love the fact that the story on Cade is Cade was a good player that didn't feel like he was going to live up to his potential, who then decided to have a surgery that had been nagging him since his sophomore year of high school. Mm-hmm. And he worked to get through that and now is one of the best point guards in the NBA. That's mentally tough. You don't have that on this team. You have a single guy that's mentally tough on this team. That's a problem. We feel like Modest can be. I think he's the one. He didn't stop trying to be aggressive. Tonight. He didn't stop trying to be aggressive. You know what happened? Every time he started being aggressive, Billy Donovan subbed him out.
That's the part that's so mind-boggling about this, right? Like, you have a team that's clearly short. I could see if it was like they were just attacking Modest and Modest wasn't adjusting. That's not what happened here. I'm not saying that they didn't attack Modest at all, but like this whole team.
He was getting attacked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They was getting attacked, but it wasn't just Modest out there. Like, this whole team defensively was like, even when they took out Modest, like, listen, Coby White is going to have nightmares about Ausar Thompson for the next, especially got to play him tomorrow, the next 24 hours for sure. Every time he closes his eyes, he goes, Ausar! Like, that's literally what it's going to be like. Because that man cooked Coby today on both sides of the ball today.
Yeah. It was bad. It was a lot of physicality allowed too. And I get it. Like, you got to know the referee and crew and stuff like that. There was a lot of physicality allowed in today's game. And Ausar Thompson took advantage of it. And nobody on the Bulls tried to. You know what I mean? Like, those are the moments where you just look at this team and you go, oh, you don't have it. Like, there's no one on this team that has that. Again, I think Modest may be one of those players. But outside of that, today with Kirk Hinrich was there, bro.
When's the last time we saw Kirk in the building?
Kirk's never coming back. I didn't even know Kirk came to the games. Kirk's never coming back.
Unless he was there to talk about becoming the next coach.
I might be in on it. We'll see. Unless Io's just trying to keep it hidden away, that is the one piece that is missing from him. Kirk Hinrich would get after you. You wasn't going to sit there and punk him. You wasn't going to sit there and be all aggressive, and he wasn't going to be aggressive back. I thought even Io kind of just, we bowing out. This ain't our game. That was kind of disappointing to see in today's game.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, Patrick Williams sucks in person.
In person. I mean, shit, he sucks not in
Hey,
person.
hey, oh, but it's worse in person. It's one of those you watch, you just like, oh, he's 6'9". This shouldn't be a difficult thing for him. When he tried to dunk that basketball and basically went up like Ben Simmons, I was like, pack him up, get him out of here. No, bro, the moment, bro, he did tell Valentine this. When Vooch finally hit a shot, Pat came up the court, bro. I don't know if you could see it on TV, but Pat knew he was shooting this shot from the second the ball got in his hands. Bro, he walked up that court, thought he had him up, pulled it, did a couple 1-2 step back. That ball missed the whole rim. Bro, I started dying laughing in my seat, bro. He moved like you know how they put the cement shoes around.
He moves like Glenn Davis. And not when Glenn Davis was good, towards the end there of Glenn Big Baby Davis.
No,
that's how he moves.
Did you see how they put the cement around the Jordan shoe statue?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how his feet is. I don't know what happened to him. He didn't used to move like that. He used to have good feet. They horrible.
You know what it is? And I made this comparison in the Discord. You know what it is that I think P. Will, some people aren't just meant to be bulky. P. Will got too bulky, and you remember when Gohan went Super Saiyan 2 too quick? And he got too bulky.
I just saw it. Yeah, dude.
That's what I think happened to P. Will. Like P. Will just not everybody's and so while the Bulls try to make P. Will this 4/5, because keep in mind, AK still talks about P. Will being some small ball 5. I'm starting to get to the point where people are saying that he's probably better. Like he used to be so much more mobile than that. And now with this additional weight that he's put on, it's made him so not everybody's meant to be bulky. And I think that's what comes down with P. Will, man.
Sir, I'm sorry. I don't know why I called you sir, bro. I'm sorry. If adding, because what he had 10 pounds of muscle, right?
No, bro. P. Will's almost 240 now.
And he was drafted at 220.
Was he? I don't think he was 220 when he came in.
I don't remember what his draft weight was. P. Will came in. P. Will came in a pretty good size, bro. He was a weird kid. Like I think he had some weight on him.
I'm looking it up. Give me 1 sec. Keep talking.
Cause I just like, I'm sorry, if you can't come in the NBA and put on muscle and keep playing, like that's a problem. That means you just bulked up and you didn't actually work on your game with any of the bulking.
Well, that's the thing though. Not everybody carries weight differently though, bro. Like it's not just as simple as you should still be able to ball with weight. Like it's like he came in 215 in the draft combine. He's put on 20 pounds.
40?
He's 237 now. That's a lot of weight, bro.
But it say when he got drafted, well, at least Google say this. I don't know what everybody else say, but it say when he got drafted, he was 225.
I'm looking at the draft combine measurements.
Yeah,
he measured it at 6'7", 215 pounds at the draft combine. I don't know if he put on weight between then and now, but initially at the draft combine.
I don't know. Like I think the thing is, right, like even that goes back to Billy Donovan. That goes back to the coaching staff that you have in place. Like if you're telling somebody to bulk up, but you're not continuing to work on their game as the muscle change, that's not professional basketball. That's playing an export. Like I get it, like everybody carries weight differently and everybody moves differently, but like we should be adjusting your game the entire time you're gaining weight because your shot's going to be different, your movement is going to be different, your explosiveness is going to be different. Technically, you should be able to jump more, but maybe because you're heavier, like I don't know if I can give him that excuse because Skinny P. Will wasn't that much better. Skinny P. Will was this. Like,
but he was a lot more mobile though. P. Will was a lot more mobile.
He was quicker. You've turned him into a legitimate 4, and you still tell him to guard like 2 guards. Yeah. Like Cade came up and they switched P. Will on him. I was like, ooh, this is gonna be bad.
It is what it is, man. Any last thoughts, Pat, before we get up out of here?
Stick around with us, man. At least we make the season entertaining. Dog, and shout out to everybody that came up and said what up to us at the it was really cool to see everybody up there today. And it's still, I mean, I only been back at Locked On Bulls. What has it been? 2 weeks? Something like that. Has it been more than 2 weeks
at this point?
Almost
bro.
a month.
A month in like a week.
Even so, like it was really cool to see everybody just like, yo, I'm glad you back with Hayes, man. It's good to see you, man. Yeah, I mean, people shouting me out for the Bears podcast. It's always fun to see y'all out there in person, man. So nobody ever talks crazy when they see me in person. I don't know what that is, Hayes. think I'm bigger than they think I am when I'm not in this chair. That's thinking.
That's funny. That's funny. We thank you guys for tuning in, man. You can follow us at Locked On Bulls. We are free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube and the Odyssey app. For Pat the Designer, this has been Locked On Bulls. We out, y'all. Peace.
Peace. I got to tell you, after what I accidentally did to my hair.
Did you see Vern's kids?
Oh, dang it! They were in the wagon.